Welcome to Walking with Harper, Episode 4, Westonbirt, the National Arboretum. Hello, I hope you enjoyed that short film of my walk through Westonbirt that I did a few weeks ago. For this week's episode, I've decided to do things slightly differently, as you can see. I wanted you to enjoy my walk without me talking over the top of it first. That way you get to experience something that's closer to the tranquility that I enjoy when walking through the British countryside. Then, if you want to listen to me talking about what I saw on my walk, then you can stick around and listen in now. Westonbirt is England's National Arboretum and is home to some 15,000 specimens or 2,500 different species from all of the far corners of the globe. Run and managed by the government agency Forestry England, the Arboretum plays a vital part in research and conservation, as well as being a stunningly beautiful place to visit and explore. Westonbirt is also a working wood, and coppicing, the traditional method of managing an oak and hazel woodland, still takes place within the woodland today. This method, which involves cutting trees down to the stump and allowing new shoots to grow, has been taking place in this wood as far back as records go. Historically, the material produced was used to produce charcoal and small construction materials. Nowadays, this management system protects the historic landscape, aids biodiversity, while still producing those traditional coppice products. The oldest example of coppicing can be seen at the 2,000-year-old lime tree. Walk past too quickly and you might have missed this one, but it's one of the highlights of the collection. The small-leaved lime, which has been managed as part of a coppice rotation dating back centuries, may not look like much to the untrained eye. But this tree holds the secrets to our past, as it's been looked after by man dating as far back as the Romans. The lime is now managed on a 20-year rotation and was last coppiced in 2012. And as long as we continue to look after this tree with the same care as our forefathers, then it will still be around in another 2,000 years. In this episode, I also showed you the Silkwood Barn. Constructed in 2008 using only traditional hand tools and construction methods, a 30-strong team that I was a part of built this oak barn in just 6 days. Everything was made out of oak, from the large supporting posts to the 3,000 shingles needed for the roof, and it all came out of Westonbirt. It was a hard week, but we worked together and we learnt the skills needed as we went. And by the end of the week, we had made something that should last for hundreds of years. The barn itself is a legacy for the future, but the handing down of knowledge and the sharing of these traditional construction techniques that are hundreds of years old, this was the main legacy. The Arboretum as we know it today's story began with the wealthy Victorian landowner Robert Holford. He started on a project to rebuild Westonbirt House, now Westonbirt School, and the formal pleasure gardens, including the creation of the Arboretum. The gardens were to be a lasting testament to his taste and wealth. Fortunately for him, the Victorian era was a time of great excitement in the plant world, and the plant hunters like David Douglas were finding new and exotic species when travelling, and would then bring them back from the furthest reaches of the British Empire. Holford financed plant collecting expeditions on a quest to find the rare, the beautiful, and the extraordinary, and the Arboretum still contains many of these original plants brought back all those years ago. The Arboretum continued to be extended by Holford, and once he died, his legacy was continued by his relatives, until in the 1950s, when the estate was handed over to Forestry England, who had the huge task of making it openly available to everyone who wished to see it for the very first time. Today, Forestry England continue Holford's legacy of preserving the extraordinary trees in the collection, and they ensure that Westonbirt is cared for and preserved for future generations. That brings us to the end of today's episode, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And please join me again soon for another walk with Harper. So, until next time, strap on those boots and get outside, and you never know, maybe you'll bump into me on my next adventure.